So when you have a list, who is trying to record, please? Who is trying to record this?
Yes, me.
Okay, all right, great. So when you have a list and then you go through your list, it gives you an edge. You see, the point at the end of the day is that it's a game of skill set and mindset. For many of us, we focus on the mindset, we ignore the skill set. Some people, they focus on the skill set and ignore the mindset. It's a two-way thing. At the time when you start, trust me, skill set is zero, and with what people are saying and all of that, your mindset might just be taking a beating here and there. But at the end of the day, one thing we want to ask ourselves is, are you hungry for a change in your life? And are you ready to make that change? Are you ready to go on and make it happen? So that is why we want to look at how we can make the best, of what we have and use social media. For many people, when it comes to following up their list and all of that, it's a challenge, but social media has made a lot easier. So let's take a look at this. When we hear the word, or before we get to that, would you sell 3 bags of cement to earn 100,000 there? Yes or no? Yes? Give me the comment section, yes or no. Would you sell 3 bags of cement to earn 100,000? Or maybe to earn $200? Would you agree to sell 3 bags of cement? Okay, yes. Somebody says yes. Eddie says yes. Who else? To sell 3 bags of cement and earn 100,000 there. Okay, only one person would sell. The rest of us would not sell. Would rather let the 100,000 go. Okay, there's no problem. Let me ask you this. Would you sell 3 bars of gold to earn 100,000 there? Yes or no? 3 bars of gold to sell to earn 100,000. Do we have people in this room? It's a yes or no. Yes or no. Just please don't stand in the middle. It's a yes or it's a no. Okay. Dilo Crypt says no. He will not sell 3 bars of gold to earn 100,000. The 100,000 is your commission. It's not like you're selling 3 bars of gold for 100,000. The 100,000 is your commission for selling the 3 bars of gold. Would you sell 3 bars of gold to earn a commission of 100,000? Is there any change of mind? Okay. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, loud and clear. I can hear you now. Better.
When we say social media, what comes to your mind? Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We're hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah. So when we say social media, what comes to your mind? I need response, please. Thank you. When we say social media, what comes to your mind? Please, you can either unmute and speak out, or you can actually just type. When we say social media, what comes to your mind? Okay. Do we have some hands raised? Yep. WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. Okay, great stuff. All right, people have different thoughts about social media. But when we talk about social media is a collective term for websites and applications, and they focus on communication, community-based input, interaction, content sharing, and collaboration. All right. Now, people use social media to stay in touch and to interact with friends, family, and various communities. And businesses, in turn, use social media applications to market, to sell, and to promote their products and track customer consent. It's important that we follow this, because at the end of this, your mindset as to maybe selling or marketing might experience a shift. Okay, Levi says social media is using technology to reach out to people. All right, great stuff. All right. So when we talk about marketing, then what comes to your mind? Marketing, what comes to your mind? Okay, many people have different definition of marketing, but we've defined marketing as the process of getting potential clients or customers interested in your products and services. And the key word in this definition is process. It means marketing is not an act. It's not a one-time thing. It is a process. It's a process that happens over a period of time. The key word here is process. And the key thing here is to get potential client services. That is why any business, any independent business owner or IBI or independent business influencer who does not take marketing seriously, the business is bound to die eventually. So, because you will not be getting people to see your business. You want to get people to see your business, you've got to market. So then, now we've talked about marketing. Let's talk a little bit about social media marketing. So when we say social media marketing, what comes to mind? When we say social media marketing, what comes to mind? When we say social media marketing, it is marketing that targets social platforms. So marketing is the process of getting potential clients or customers to invest in your product. Social media marketing, all right, is marketing that targets social platforms for brand promotion, target audience growth, driving website traffic, and increasing sales. Okay, so this is marketing, but in this case now, we are targeting people that are on social media platforms. And why are we targeting them? We're targeting them because we want to promote our brand, and we want to grow our audience, and we also want to drive traffic to our website, and in the end we want to increase sales. So by the time you blend this together, you kind of have an idea of why companies spend a lot of money in marketing, this time in social media marketing. Now this is a big one, sales. At this point, I'm going to wait for you guys to tell me what is your definition of sales. When we say sales, a salesman, a saleswoman, what is your definition when you hear the word sales, selling? What comes to your mind? Yes, we can unmute and respond. We can also type. Yes, when we hear sales, what comes to our mind? All right, so who's there? If we're not responding, we'll end the training here. It is that simple. Okay, no answer is wrong. We just want to make sure that it's an interactive class. When we hear sales, what comes to our mind? This question should not take time because we are all salesmen and women. When we hear sales, what comes to our mind? Okay, exchange of goods and services for money, for profit. Okay, that's one definition. Exchange of goods and services for money, for profit. Yes, who has another definition? Sales refers to getting a product or service to the hands of clients or customers. Okay. Yes. Exchange of services for money. Yes. Okay. So if you notice, of all the three definitions we have, they have elements of exchange, being able to add, convincing value for someone to buy from you. Okay, so take a look at all the four definitions. There's, you have the element of exchange, right? Now, why don't we take a look at this definition? Sales is really about helping your prospects to source what they genuinely need. So if you're a good salesperson, or a good salesman or woman, your focus is not on, yes, exchange will happen, but your focus is not on the exchange. It is because people focus on the exchange. That is why when they have a particular product, they tell you that it has a solution to every problem. I remember back in the day when some of us, even today, some people still do that, especially people who are in the wellness industry. They'll tell you one particular supplement can solve all the problems in the world, because no matter what, they want you to buy from them. But what a good salesperson does is to ask himself, does my product provide the needed solution? Okay, praise God, I see your answer. Thank you. Does my product provide the best suspect's problem? Does it provide the best solution? Okay, sorry, I got thrown out. Okay, so imagine for a moment that you want to buy something from someone, and then the person tells you that after discussing with you, the person then figures out that his solution or his product is not the best for you, and then tells you, well, I don't think this product is the best for you, but I know someone that has something better suited. At the end of the day, trust me, even when you go to buy from the other person, what would happen is that you would respect this person who directed you to the other person was genuine enough. I know back in the day when I was a 9 to 5, I was doing this I was working full time. We had a case of a client, a prospect who wanted to carry out a particular project, and then the person that the firm that they met, discussed with them, the salesperson then told them point blank that what they're trying to do, that his firm cannot deliver on that, but there's another firm. So he directed them to that firm. Now, when they got to that firm executed the project. And then the firm tried to corner them as their own client. But the client was responsible enough to say, no, I got to you through referral. So because you have a particular expertise, but I will not stop dealing with the other person and come straight to you just because in fact, I think that really started their relationship, because this person wanted to completely cut the person off that referred the client, the prospect, of course, now client, to him. So everybody likes honesty. So as we go to talk to people about our businesses, even when it's on social media, we must understand it's more about conversation, it's about engagement. Selling is really about helping your prospects to source what they genuinely need. So the person you are selling probably anything to, even if it's yellow pack or anything to, does the person really need everything? It's something we also want to ask ourselves. Is there a particular thing that this person needs? Or are we just fixated on selling a particular bouquet of product, even if the person does not necessarily need it? If the person eventually finds out, comes into the community and finds out that, really, you know what, I really don't need these things, how would the person feel? wouldn't it rather be better if you present everything and tell the person, well, if you want to get everything, which is, if you ask me, the better choice, this is it. However, here are your options. All right. So selling is not about just about exchange of goods for money. It's more about finding out. That is why good salesmen ask more questions than talk. So they ask questions and they listen to the client. They listen more, because it means you have to listen actively and understand their pain point and specific needs. Because the aim is to provide a timely and cost-effective solution, which naturally equates to a win-win situation. So good sales is when everybody is happy to buy and everybody is happy to sell. All right. So I think we've gone through this. So when we talk about social media platforms, what social media platforms do you have? I think somebody has mentioned WhatsApp and Facebook and all of that. There are quite a number of them. WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, YouTube, they're all social media platforms. But if we have time, I'm probably going to talk about one, Facebook, right? But before we get to all of that, understand that for you to make the best of social media, you have to learn to optimize your profile. Make sure that your profile, you've got good pictures, you've got good banners, and the information on your profile is accurate, complete, active. The links are good. Make sure that you have links there that will direct the person to the website that you want the person to get to. Then make sure that you also post regularly and post useful, entertaining, relevant posts, photos, videos, live stories. Understand that if people, one of the biggest things we must learn to do if we want to use social media is to create content. If people are seeing you every time, the likelihood is that they will remember you when they want to spend. When they are not seeing you every time, there's a big, huge chance that they will not remember you when it's time to spend. Okay? Then also learn to engage, all right? Another thing you want to do is to learn to engage. Okay, to engage people. That is what we're doing, especially when it comes to our pipeline building project. Okay, where you farm, you ATQ, and you follow. Then at some point, if you're on social media, at some point you will have to begin to advertise using paid method of advertising, of reaching your targeted audience, and also learn to measure the platforms, the efficacy and the results that come from the platforms. All of that, they form the social media, the fundamentals of social media. If you want to use social media, you must be ready to begin to. So now that will bring us to another. Okay, so understand, if we have time, we probably are going to talk a little more about engagement. Okay, help me to admit those who are coming into the room, please. So funnel, sales funnel. When you hear the expression sales funnel, what comes to your mind? Yes, I want comments. What comes to your mind when you hear the expression sales funnel? What comes to your mind? Yes? Who wants to comment? When you hear the expression sales funnels, what comes to your mind? Nobody's saying anything, all right? So when we hear the expression sales funnel, it means a sales funnel is also called, another name is a purchase funnel. It is the visual representation of the customer journey that depicts the sales process from awareness to action. Now, let's take an example of sales funnel. When we talk about sales funnel, what example do we have? Yeah, somebody is saying something. Action that can channel customer to buy, okay? It's all right. So the sales funnel is not just an action, it is a series of actions, all right, that guides the person, that guides the person into the point of buying. Okay, I wish it was a physical class. I would have, demonstrated some things, but let's see what we can do. Okay, so for instance, now a customer sees a rack of t-shirts on clearance, and then the customer begins to use his thumb to go through the rack, trying to select which of the t-shirts he would like to buy. Already the customer is in the funnel. And then the customer selects 4 shirts and walks to the checkout. At that point, the customer is already at the last step of the funnel. So the funnel begins from the point when the customer sees the rack of t-shirts on clearance. That's the entry, that's the mouth of the funnel. So, and then begins to select what t-shirts he would love to buy, and then eventually he chooses what he wants to buy. So that's all. That's an example of what happens. Funnel has different stages. There are different stages, okay, in a funnel. There are different stages. The stages of a sales funnel include the stage of awareness, interest and evaluation, desire and decision, and also action. All of these are funnels. And really, when we talk about funnel, we're not saying you have to automate it. At some point, it's got to be automated. But if you take a look at even the pipeline building funnel that we're using, from the time when you farm, you are introducing the person to the mouth of the funnel. To the point when you ATQ, okay? The point when you farm is the awareness point. The point when you ATQ is when you dig for interest and you evaluate, okay, and give the person and evaluate. And this is the interest point. And then when you send the stuff for review, the person will review and evaluate, and that stuff will prick the person's desire. Do I really want to do this? And the person will be able to make a decision. And when the person says, I'm ready to sign up, that's the action point. So it's the same thing. Different activities might happen, but this is how the funnel flows. If you understand what I mean, right? So the question is, how do you keep a prospect in your funnel? Getting the prospect into the funnel is one thing. Keeping the prospect in the funnel is another thing. So the first thing you need to learn to do to keep the prospect in the funnel is, is to build an audience. The next thing you need to do is when you talk about building your audience, you need to learn to clean your timeline, okay, of your company's products and related stuff, and start stuffing your timeline with value. Now, let me tell you what this means. I know that we've been doing some postings online, banners and all of that, which is fine. But really, if your timeline is full of just the company's banners and all of that, you know what? People will just look at the banner, and then the next thing they'll go online and they'll just check, okay, what is to know it? What is Moonacade? And they get some scanty information and off they go. But when people come to your timeline and they see that you are also a person of value, you've got videos, that will force them to stay. While they stay on your timeline, they will see other things about your company and probably would be attracted to contact you. Or if they do not see so much, they see so much of value, they want to connect with you based on the value. And along the line, you're going to talk about the solutions that you have. Remember that when people just see company banners and ads and all of that, say, oh, these guys, they want to sell something to me. And people do not have the right, most people, their understanding of sales is they want to collect my money and give me something I don't need. But when you attract people to your through your timeline to you, you have the opportunity to explain to them what value you give. And remember, once they are in the funnel, you want them to stay in the funnel. You want to be the authority that they'll be listening to. All right. You don't want them to go out there and begin to search for things. So another thing you need to do is to start off immediately. Whatever you learn, start applying it on social media. Do not wait until you learn too much. For instance, you could just go, I just learned this awesome tip on Facebook Live, etc. Blah, 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 blah. And then you give some tips. That's the way you start. I just want to say thank you. Today is Gratitude Tuesday. I just want to say thank you. You start doing something on social media. And then focus on building your audience, because the quicker you build your audience, the faster you are going to start making money. So if you're that person that says, I'm shy, I don't want to put content out there, I don't know how to do this and all of that, you are simply saying you are shy, you don't want to make money. You want to make money online, you want to increase your followership, you want people to notice you, you've got to focus on building your audience. You also want to make sure that you are talking to quality people so that you do not stay there and waste your time. So as you farm ATQ and follow up, you should be able to also know if somebody is simply wasting your time and you move on. So you do not want to be befriending everyone. At some point, you want to select who you want to be your friend. That is why I tell people, when you farm, don't just take note. Wait until they respond before you take note of them as people that have come into your funnel. Okay, so you don't just send messages and expect that you begin to write the person's name down. I don't do that. I like to wait for them to respond. Then I know that, okay, this person has responded to me and the person can get into my farm list, all right? So if it is someone that you like to connect with, send a personal message. Of course, we've taught that over and over. Send a personal message. Do not just copy and paste. All right, do not just do add. Send a personal message and take the time to learn about them. Go to their timeline, go to their wall, learn about them. Where do they live? Do they have children? Do they have kids? Do they have animals, pets? And then try to build rapport, all right? So first things first, learn to build an audience. That's what you need to do. Then secondly, you also need to learn to engage. Okay, how do you engage? When people see you that you are providing content, your conversation will begin to change. When you get into marketing online, you need to get in with the long term in view. That's why some people don't do social media, because it's taking too much time. Yes, at the point when you're starting and you're building, it will take a while. The key is for you to stick with the process long enough in order to build strong network. And you need to learn how to take people who do not know you and then gradually warm them up, then turn them hot. And when you this will take a little bit of time depending on your skill and your capacity. So when you take the time, it's going to eventually get easier. All right, when you take the time, it's going to eventually get easier. So when turning people warm, do not do it with pressure. Once you are acting desperately, people will smell it and they will run away from you. Do it like you're in a party and you're getting to know someone. You don't jump on the person. You ask questions to get familiar with the person. Be intentional in the language that you use. Sometimes when you're talking to young people and you use words that are too formal and too strict, they tend to run away. So you want to be relaxed in the language that you use. And when you're talking to older people too, they like you to show courtesy. They like you to be respect, to show a very high sense of decency. So you have to be careful when you're talking to older people too. So what I do is, I do, and I think I've learned from other coaches, is you listen to the way the person talks or the person communicates. Over the phone, they teach us that when you say hello and the person says hello and you're talking, you have to listen to the way, the pace and the rhythm of the person's voice and try to imitate it, because the likelihood many a times is that people listen the way they talk. All right, people listen the way they talk. If you notice, there are some people that they talk fast and you are in a meeting and you're trying to make a point, but you're going round and round and round. If you notice, they get impatient. They like, go straight to the point. Okay, and there are some people that when they like loads of explanation and maybe you just go sharp, they go and they just go back and they say, well, I didn't get what you said. Could you just explain what you really mean? So people tend to, I don't know, you can test this theory. People tend to listen the way they talk. So you have to pay attention and focus on building a relationship, all right? Focus on building a relationship. And also pay attention, because as the conversation goes, you need to listen deep into their responses and do not miss it when they open the door. For instance, when you're asking questions and people are talking about no time, work is stressful, they're probably telling you that if they find something that gives them more time and takes care of their bills, they probably will consider that. So dig in to find the pain point and try to weigh in from that point. But the only way you can discover that is if you are paying attention, to what they're saying. So be cool about the information that you give. Do not overload them with information. Sometimes people ask you questions and questions and questions. You tend to go on and overload them with information. Be careful not to do that. So for those of you, if you're using Facebook, which I would recommend everybody does, Start your timeline with teaching. Make your content rich. When you ask a person a personal question in the course of your conversation with people, be sure to answer the question first. For instance, if you say, hey, what's up? Where do you live? First of all, you immediately say, okay, for me, I live in Port Harcourt. I live on Stadium Road, Port Harcourt. What about you? Where do you live? The person is more inclined to respond to you than when you just not told the person anything. You ask like a security operative, hey, where do you live? And the person goes like, the person then goes, are you my father or something? What's the problem with you? Why would you ask me that kind of question? Okay, so the fastest way to find a person's pain is to share your own first. When people see, be careful the information you share online though. When people see that you're willing to open up, they tend to trust you more, all right? So be careful, but then be willing to share with people. That way they will be moved to also share with you. So be sure to place yourself in a place of authority. Remember, when you are the person directing the conversation, you are in a place of authority. But when the other person is asking you questions and dictating the pace of the conversation, you are only following the person's lead. You see, when people tell you about themselves, it's important that you write them down, you take note, pay attention to their timeline, and spot what is possibly holding them back in making a decision. From what I have said so far, you find out that social media is interesting. However, it requires a bit of patience. It requires a lot of learning that will take you a bit of time. But except you don't want to get on social media, then you probably would just stay offline, which is not a recommended place to stay 100% offline because it's going to wear you out. Offline can be draining, all right? Today, for instance, I had conversations with people. Trust me, every conversation I had like dragged, you know, even if my plan was, I booked meetings with these guys and my plan was to spend 30 minutes with them. Before you know it, in fact, the last person I was to leave by 4 where I was to leave by 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. And this conversation dragged till about 7. You know, kept asking questions from crypto to this to that, which is fine, you know. But if we were, I think sometimes you tend to control, well, again, that's my opinion. You tend to control conversations more when you are meeting virtually. When you are in the same space, you talk about quite a number of things before you try to even up and then you start conversation. So I'm not saying offline is bad. I'm saying at the end of the day, we should learn to mix both. All right. So we can tap into the vastness of social media and the depth of offline and make the best out of it. So build rapport and find opportunity to transition into business in a loving and caring way. And for some people, they keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And then time to transit into business, they're unable to transit into business. Well, that is why our pipeline building funnel is important. The farming ATQ helps you to transit into business. So you don't stay stuck in just talking about other things. Then the last part I want to talk about this night is to sell. When you build, you engage, you sell. That is where the ATQ comes in. Ask the prospect if he or she is open to take a look at the solution you offer. Align your products and services with your prospect's desire and start making sure that people get to see you, people get to see your products and your services. You are always there. If they see you, you'll be the first to come to their mind when they want to do what, when they want to buy. If they don't see you, out of sight is out of mind. And then you understand when I say review and follow, send them the material you want them to review and follow up with them. Then take questions, answer objections, and that's it. So the next, probably when we meet next week, God willing, if I'm able to take this class again, we're going to look at the biggest mistakes that people make when they are online. All right, if we have a few questions, I could take a few questions before we call it a day. Questions? Few questions. All right. We don't have questions. If you have a question, you can type in the comment section, and then we can see how far we can answer that. Okay. All right. So this is what we're going to do, right? Are you there? All right, so if we have no questions, thank you very much. You probably okay. So Adam Usman, please.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir.
I greet the house, sir. Please, I quite appreciate the content of the presentation, even though I joined late. I've been driving for the past 1.5 hours. But I want to kindly request, can we get the recorded version since it's been recorded, sir? Thank you very much for the effort.
Yes, you'll get it. I'm sure Engineer Edward will make it available. Okay, somebody asked me,
God bless.
How do I, all right, great, thank you, sir. How do I build a sales funnel? Okay, so you can build an automated sales funnel. You've got to learn it. It's a process. So for you to build a sales funnel, you would need to have a platform that allows you to build a sales funnel. And then you're also going to build, remember when we talk about sales funnel, we're talking about a series of actions, guided actions that the customer or the prospect takes until it becomes a customer. And you have to put those actions into place. So there's an automated way to do that, where you have your opt-in page or you have your landing page, and you probably, depending on the complexity of the funnel, you probably have your bridge page, and then you get to the sales letter where you discuss what you want the person to know, and then eventually you go over to the thank you page, okay, the sales page, and then you get over to the thank you page, or your sales page, and then you get out to the checkout where you get the person to click and buy, okay, or click to take action, whichever. So it's just a process. It's not complex. It's not difficult. You can learn it. In fact, if maybe one of these days we might even teach it. You can actually map your sales funnel out and how you want to do with everything. But it takes a little bit of technical knowledge. But offline, not offline, organically, we already do have the sales funnel, okay? From the point of farming to the point of ATQing to the point of review to the point of follow-up and answering questions, that's a funnel in itself. If you go to an offline shop, from the point where you see the shoes, the pair of shoes or the shoes sampled on the shoe rack, you are already at the mouth of the funnel. When you begin to check the shoes and you begin to try them on, to test them, you are already in the middle of the funnel, because at that point you're already deciding. It's a point of you've gotten to the point of desire and act. You've probably gotten to the point of desire and action, or you've gotten to the point of desire, the point of desire and decision, and eventually you get to action. So that is offline. Just that people just don't know it. Many people do not. So the moment you click on anything online and they say 12 ways to make money in 12 days, once you click on it, you are in a funnel straight away. So from the point, some funnels can be very complex, because within the funnels, you're also going to input email marketing, where you put emails that can be, so those emails that you see getting to you every time once you click on something, those emails have already been programmed. Maybe sometimes you have 10 emails, you have 20 emails, 30 emails, they've been programmed and fit in a way that every 24 hours an email is released. Automatically, it's been planned, it's been programmed that way. And then sometimes they have newsletters, which is like a campaign. They'll just send it across board. Okay, that's like a newsletter. It comes once in a while. It could be weekly reviews, monthly reviews. But you have these emails that come maybe every 24 hours, every 48 hours, every 76 hours. All of that is to keep following you, making sure that you remain in the funnel. It's like you walk into a shop and a woman, the owner of the shop, is telling you, oh, you want to buy a powder. Okay, we also have lipstick, where the lipstick where they will not stain your lips. Okay, we have this one, we have this one. We also, have you tried our perfume? Have you tried our collection? What about the oil perfume? What about this? What about this designer perfume? And all of that, they just want you to stay in the shop and buy everything that you want to buy there, instead of going outside to look and then get distracted. So yes, you can build a sales funnel.